Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, and in today's video we're going to take a look at pin locks, what they do, what they are, and how good they are. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let us get into the video. So ladies and gents, how are we all doing? I hope you're doing well. In today's video I'm going to try and attempt to explain what pin lock does, what they do, what it's made of, how it works, and so on. So the basics on pin locks themselves. What they basically are is double glazing for your helmets, and what it does is it creates an ambient layer of air between the outside of the helmet and the inside. So if you can imagine how the double glazing works in your home, it's basically the same principle but for a helmet. What pin lock actually basically does, it allows you to be able to breathe relatively heavily inside a helmet when you have the visor down and either locked or just sealed properly. Now there's varying degrees of how well pin lock works, and if you ever looked at an actual pin lock insert, it has different numbers on it. So say for example pin lock 70, pin lock 90, pin lock 120 and so on. That denotes the amount of time that the pin lock stays clear for in minutes before it starts to steam up. So as you can imagine, with my RX-7 I've got pin lock 120, so my pin lock will stay clear for 120 minutes before it starts to, in inverted commas, steam up. So that in a nutshell is what pin lock does. It allows the visor to stay nice and clear for approximately anywhere between 70 to 120 minutes, or there or thereabouts. What the pin lock's actually made of, that's a very interesting topic. It's almost like an acrylic, but it's not. It's really bendy, it's really flexible, and it has like a rubber gusset or a rubber seal that runs around the edge of it to help maintain that whole ambient layer of air. Now as you can imagine, riding in these kind of conditions isn't exactly brilliant at the best of times, whether you've got a clear visor or a tinted visor. So now that we've covered the basics about what pin lock does and what it's made of, now comes the bigger question: how good are they? Now like I've said before, I've been riding motorcycles for the best part of 18 years or so. I've had various different sizes of cc bike, ranging from 50cc mopeds to the current 1100cc V-twin I am on, and I can honestly say that pin locks are an absolute fucking godsend, especially if you get caught out in the rain, or if it happens to be like a sunny summer's evening and it starts raining or whatever. Having that safety net, I guess you could call it, of being able to actually see where you're going, it helps a fucking lot. It really does. And I know I've said in previous videos that I do ride with a tinted visor all year round, and yes, at this time of night riding my visor down is probably not the best idea in the world, but it is what it is. I don't like the idea of riding at night with my visor up, because I really would not. I would rather have nothing hit me in the face rather than wind, rain and whatever else. If I could avoid that, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Oh, ZX10 I think. But anyway, I can honestly say hand on heart that pin locks are an absolute godsend. If it wasn't for pin locks, or if it wasn't for whoever invented pin locks, should I say, things would be very, very different for me right now. I'd probably have to ride with my visor up more often than not, because obviously with motovlogging you talk a lot and you breathe in and out a lot, and I mean, let's face it, if you don't breathe in and out you're dead, but you know what I mean. And if it wasn't for my pin lock, I think it's fair to say that I would not be seeing what I'm seeing. For example, if you have a look at my left hand mirror, which is just here, you see it's all foggy? That's because I haven't cleaned the mirror properly. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't seem like a massive deal, but when that particular smearage or that fogginess is that close to your eyes, it can cause you to have quite a bit of visual impairment. It really isn't ideal, especially at this time of night. I mean, nor is riding this quickly with my visor up as well. neither of which is a good idea, but when needs must, we must persevere. Pinlocks in general are an absolute godsend, I have to admit. And yes, they can be expensive depending on the brand of the helmet. For example, if you buy a Frank Thomas helmet, the pinlock inserts are about 20 quid. If you buy the pinlock for an Arrow or a AGV or a Shoei, and I do apologise about the wind, ladies and gents, I really do. As I'm saying, depending on what brand of helmet you own will obviously dictate on how much the pinlock is. And not only that, but different brands offer different time scales. Like I've just briefly touched upon, my RX-7 has pinlock 120. Some of the more modest brands, like HJC, for example, have pinlock 70. And don't get me wrong, pinlock 70 still works pretty damn good. For example, on my HJC IS-17 that I had many years ago, well, I say many years ago, it's like just over a year ago, I'm exaggerating, do you know what I mean? I had the same pinlock insert in that visor for the whole entire time I owned the helmet. Excuse me. So for the best part of almost 5 years, I had the same pinlock. Never changed it. I cleaned it every once in a while, but never actually changed it, i.e. replaced it. Because I'm now wearing my RX-7 a hell of a lot more than I thought I would do, I pretty much retired the IS-17 and went straight for using my current helmet for as long as I possibly can. So I'll be honest, I do prefer the RX-7. Not just because it's an Arrow, but also because it actually seems to cope a lot better than the IS-17 with a camera on it, which is weird because if I remember rightly, I think my RX-7 is actually slightly heavier than the IS-17, same sizes and everything, just it's just heavier. I would have to put it down to, with Arrow, the way they make their shells. They use a lot of different compounds in terms of making their shells up, whereas I know the IS-17 was a polycarbonate shell, so basically plastic. I know it wasn't as strong or as, you know, robust as the RX-7 that I'm currently wearing, but at the end of the day, you know, it did its job. But back to the pinlocks. Oh, excuse me. I would definitely say it doesn't matter whether you're a new rider, a seasoned rider, a rider that hasn't ridden for a little while and has just come back to the road. If you can, get a helmet that can accommodate a pinlock. Whether it be through the standard OEM clear visor, or it is with an aftermarket tinted visor, or even an aftermarket clear visor that's been retrofitted with the pinlock pins. So regardless of which way you look at it, if you can find a helmet that has all those features, then you're well on your way to having a much more comfortable ride than if you tried riding with a helmet that doesn't have pinlock and then wonder why the visor is constantly steaming up, you're having a horrible time trying to see where you're going, and just generally just not having a good day. But you know what I'm saying, it just generally won't bode well for you, let's put it that way. So if you can get a helmet with pinlock, ladies and gentlemen, heed my advice, please get it. If you can afford it, great. If you can't, try and get something that's close to it. I know you can now get anti-fog serums that you can spray on your visors and stuff like that, but let's be honest, those kind of things, they come in a very poor second to pinlock itself. And I've said before in previous videos about helmets and pinlocks and visors and stuff like that, You don't have to go and buy an RX-7. You don't have to go and buy a Shoei GTR or a Shoei Experience 3. You don't have to buy a Pista GP-RR. You know, you don't have to go down that route. You don't have to spend stupid money to get a good quality helmet. Like I've just said already, my IS-17, it was about 150 quid. Never let me down once. Thankfully I never crashed in it, so I never had to test it to that point, to that extent. But like I said, it was a comfortable helmet. It was relatively quiet, wasn't too heavy, wasn't too expensive. To get aftermarket visors for it, like the tinted one that I had on, literally £45, £55, something like that. You know, you don't have to spend stupid money to make your lid look good. But like I said, if you can, try and get a helmet that has Pinlock already available for it. Either it comes with it in the box, or it is a separate thing you can buy afterwards. Either way, do yourselves a favour and get Pinlock. I wholeheartedly insist that if you can afford it, get it. Get yourself a Pinlock ready helmet. But anyway, ladies and gents, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you got something out of it. If you could do me a massive favour, smash the like button for me. It does help promote the channel to new people. And as always, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. You guys have been absolutely fucking awesome. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys, like I've just said, have been absolutely fucking awesome. I am Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, saying look after yourselves, look after each other, stay safe on the road, be aware of COVID-19, be safe, be happy, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, adios.